don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept the change. Now I'm walking Hall of Fame. And I reside in the cloud. Grand wishes with these bitches. Taking pictures with the crowd, and I'm out.
What up? What up? What up? Happy Thursday, people. Peace and blessings. What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope all is well. Friday, right around the corner. Tell me you feeling good. Tell me you got some energy to finish this week all strong. Shout out to my poets, writers, content creators. Grateful to be here with y'all. Grateful to share stage with y'all. You see the title, we got a double. A lot of y'all was with me on Tuesday. We're going to blend it. We got Jey Uso. We got Nola Wells. One man is about to go through a divorce. The other one, they're trying to sweep under the rug. They're trying to pretend like they don't know what's going on. I got my partner in the studio. I'm waiting for him to mic and clip up. The first clip that we're going to jump into is the Uso situation. I don't know if we got any WWE fans in here. That's neither here nor there. But I know like this is about to get a little spicy because our perspectives are probably going to bump heads throughout this one. Either way, we got a lot to cover tonight. I thank y'all for being here. Do me a solid, like, share, hype, repost. Let the people know that we are on, we are live. We got a lot to chop up. In regards to the Nola Wells case, there has been some updates. And the clip that I have for that one, it alludes to some of it, but there's a little more that we need to address with that. The first time that I talked about that one, I told you how I felt. You know, I know, and everybody that has been discussing that case know exactly who was responsible for this. No, we're not going to ignore it. No, you're not going to be able to weasel your way out of accountability for that. And just because your people work in high places, that don't mean nothing. So this is going to be an interesting one. I'm more excited about hearing the different perspectives on both of these. If y'all have any views, any thoughts about this, let us know in the comments. I will highlight all of that stuff for us. Questions, any of that. I see Max is in the studio. I'm going to bring him up. And yeah, let's get this show started. You know what I'm saying? Max, 1 second, brother. Yo.
Yo, what's happening?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Oh man, the Lord just giving me some clarity, and unfortunately, it's heartbreaking, but it's all good. We have Jesus. What is going on, man? I heard something about Uso as a topic of conversation. Something about a divorce.
Yeah, bro. So we doing a two-parter. We're gonna start with Jey Uso with the
Oh
divorce.
Lord,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I was like, oh man, not wrestling. I'm like, oh boy, I heard about that the other day. I was like, hey man, I was like, I forgot that I didn't know that brother was married. I was like, wait, what?
I was like, I was confused because I get them confused because there's Jay and there's Jimmy, but like
Yeah.
I be mixing them up. But yeah, it's Jay, and I'm like, all right.
Main event: Jey Uso has found himself in hot water.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't going to touch on it, but I was like, dang, I just remember Max know about the wrestling stuff, and I already know 6 Rings he's still watches. Like I don't watch no more, but I know about them and stuff like that. So, yeah, I got a clip that I'm gonna play. I see he mic'd up, he clipped up. All right. Let's get this going. Hey, yo, what's up?
What's up? Yo, just as a warning, in a couple of minutes, I'll just be muted for a second because my mom will need help with something real quick, but that'll be the only reason I'll be muted, just for a warning, and then I'll give the opinion later.
Got
but I'm
covered.
here.
Got you covered.
Yeah.
All right, bro. To the bottom screen, what's going on, man?
Hey, good evening. This is gonna be nice. This is my official Friday. I'm excited about the topics for tonight. Let me put that on the table, and let's get it. Let's chop it up.
All right. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring up the first one. This is for the Uso, and we're gonna let it fly.
I can't even hold y'all. I learned about this at work and I damn near fell out. Jey Uso's wife is filing for divorce after 12 years of marriage. And based on past things that I've seen, I'm not terribly surprised. More surprising thing about this is the fact that I found out through TMZ of all places. That's just diabolical. And honestly, good on her because we saw the photos, we saw the videos, we know what the deal is. Allegedly since 2023, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Now, knowing what we know and knowing what the circumstances of this particular divorce is, I feel like she ain't asking for a lot. She's asking for primary and physical custody of their child, but to open a joint legal custody, I feel like that's fair. She also requested exclusive access to their home in Georgia, child and spousal support, and attorney fees. Again, I don't feel like this is too much to ask for. Again, knowing what we know, this is not too much to ask for, in my opinion. And following the announcement, Jey Uso, he is managing and handling it very well. Went on his Instagram story and his Twitter, mind you, and said, and I quote, "I'm a grown-ass man." The Instagram story specifically, he added, "and leave her the fuck out of it too, lame-ass motherfuckers." Again, I'm just quoting. Nonetheless, I do genuinely hope that they are able to get through this amicably. But the one thing I will say is a grown-ass man never has to say he's a grown-ass man to other grown-ass people. Online, mind you, but that's just me. I can't even hold y'all. I've learned about.
All right.
Oh man,
let's get it. Who wants to start first, man?
Bro, I'll do it real quick just in case I get interrupted. Bro, I heard about this the other day. First of all, I know he's dating one of the girls from NXT, Jada Park, I believe. So I knew about that relationship. I didn't even know he was still married. I actually had no idea because I know Jimmy's married to uh, Naomi, who's pregnant, and I didn't know Jay was necessarily married. I think I heard about it, but I didn't realize that he was still married. So for him to stay, that's not the best defense, but at the same time, I mean, he can say what he wants. But the thing is, he's in a caliber where he's part of a famous family in wrestling. It's the Mullen family. They're very well known like that. So, The Rock, all that, the Roman Reigns. So this kind of thing don't help. I remember when Bray Wyatt, the late Bray Wyatt, was caught dating one of the other girls named JoJo. He was married at the time still, too. And somehow that didn't manage to hurt his reputation as far as the fan base went. It's disappointing because it was disappointing. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but my point being that him doing this doesn't really help. I like Jay as a performer, but I think he's considered to be, his nickname is Main Event Jey Uso. He has the hype for it, but try to take care of your hype a little bit. Keep in mind that your personal business can spill out into your work business. Now, if you don't care, then fine. By all means, do what you want. But I don't think it's unfortunate. I mean, props for her for not for just just doing the divorce as you should when it comes to infidelity. One of the few biblical exceptions to divorce. But I was very surprised to hear this because he's someone that's trying to stay on top. He had the world title for not a crazy amount of time, and he was chasing it for a while. He had a whole momentum going. So if he's still trying to pursue any momentum with the fan base, I don't know if this will hinder him for a bit. I hope that the company handles this properly because there's a thin line between favoritism and just ignoring personal business. Because I think, I'm not saying you got to walk on eggshells in your personal life, but keep in mind that your reputation means a lot in the entertainment industry and anywhere. But when you know that your life involves cameras everywhere, outside and inside the ring, you risk your rep being a little tainted. But it further proves that we shouldn't idolize anybody, especially celebrities, because people are going to disappoint you naturally. I mean, I can't support the cheating. I had no idea he was dating Jada on the side. At least was it Jada? Forgive me if I'm naming the wrong person, but I believe it was her. But I just repent for yourself, brother. That's all I can say, Oos. I don't look crazy in this camera. But yeah, I think that's all I got for now.
You got it down bottom.
Yeah, man, we're gonna keep it a whole oos on here, man, this evening with my man Jay. It's tough. That's a tough situation with the divorce piece. But I will say the wife, we're gonna start with the wife here. And when it comes to that wife, she's not she's not in like the company fame, so to speak. That was his high school sweetheart. They had two children from what they say, and he didn't even marry her immediately. You see what I'm saying? He married her kind of late in the game when he did marry her. So we got to put that on the table, and he knew her from what, high school? So let's put that on the table. Second, she never really came, around in the company when he was in the tag team with his brother. You saw, like you stated up top, you saw more of Naomi, which her real name Trinity. You saw more of her than Jey Uso's actual wife, which brings me to your other point. We didn't even know. I know I didn't. I didn't even know he was married. That's how out the way the wife was. Now, when I look back on certain situations with Jay in the company, to me, the relationship between him and that wife, it seemed like they were already separated. The way the relationship was even going, he wasn't celebrating her like that. He wasn't serenading his wife. He was more of to me, he was more of a single parent to me. If you keep in mind when he won the title, when he beat Gunther and choked Gunther out, who was on the show? Who was he celebrating with?
His son.
Exactly. He had that
I remember
son.
that.
He had that son all around the shows with him, taking pictures with him when we had his little rise and stuff, being a single star. And he ain't celebrate that with mommy or the wife. Wasn't none of that. So we gotta put some emphasis on the relationship between them two. Then let's go with Jada Parker. Jada Parker is, I mean, she is what she is. If anybody watched NXT, you know about some Miss Parker. Let's put that on the table too. She's a star. She is a star, no doubt about it. And let's also put it when they've been doing something for about, I think, over a year now. So it's been happening. It's just they haven't really been dating out loud. I'm gonna say that. So what should that tell you about Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso? That should tell you that main event Jey Uso, he has relationships, or when he does have one, he kind of, go about his business kind of privately. Maybe that's why he was real defensive in the interview, saying I'm a grown ass man and I do what the hell I want, y'all lame, because he got his career. He's been doing good in his career, and then he got that. And when you mix both of them together, like with the situation with Jada Parker, yeah, man, you in the spotlight. You're not just the Usos no more. You know, for a long time you couldn't tell them apart, but now you can. You could tell Jimmy from Jay for damn sure. His career has jumped so high since Roman Reigns gave him that rub as the big cousin. And as soon as he made him the right hand man, he skyrocketed. So let's put some emphasis back on that relationship. Jay Uso to me is private with his stuff. He didn't really want to get the exposure, but once again, according to that video you showed, uh, they dogged him, bro, and let's put some emphasis on that. It's kind of it make it kind of one sided when this happens. You know what I'm saying? But if you flip the script, would you get the same reaction? I don't think so. You got it.
Or if it was a girl instead of him.
Yeah, when in general though, when it's the female doing that, I don't think you get that type of reaction the way they just did Jay Uso just now.
Mm,
So we gotta we
well,
gotta we gotta put a little emphasis on that. You see what they said.
I think the thing is, I think it depends because I don't know any girls I don't know any of the women in the industry who have cheated on their partners, but I know like the closest thing I could think of is Charlotte Flair being a type of way where the joke is that she's been married already a couple of times, 3 times, and she can risk falling into the trope of her father where he had all these relationships. 0 for 3 is what Tiffany Stratton made fun of, and that was apparently not scripted. So it can hurt the girls too, like, because it also depends on how you carry yourself and what the company's doing with you. A lot of people get mad because of who gets pushed all the time and who doesn't, and how they just hold their storylines. So if it was the reverse, it really depends on who it is, I think, and in what stage in their career. Like, I can't see Bailey pulling that kind of thing, but at the same time, she's fairly private. Like, Io Sky only revealed the most controversial thing about Bailey is that Io Sky revealed that she likes to drink alcohol. To me, I was like, what? That threw me off because she plays this innocent type character, even in her heel phase. But, at the end of the day, like, I don't know what that girl be doing behind closed doors. One of my friends is like, bro, they're doing stuff to each other all the time. They're on the road all the time. They with each other. I'm like, okay, that's possible, but at the same time, I don't like to imagine that because I have no reason to, even if that could be a thing. But, it's just that I don't know in this case if that would be a gender thing. Maybe it depends. If people have a hindrance with feminism, or at least a toxic version of it, people will get mad at women defending women who are having side pieces and be like, well, let her be. She's a grown ass woman. She can do what she wants. I'm like, if it was a dude, you'd be blasting at us, which I see what you mean. But I guess it depends on the audience, because if I'm looking at wrestlers, I don't know. I've yet to hear about the girls having a problem, but I don't know if it's just the way the media wants to present things. If there's stories there and they just don't blast it, then that's different. But if the girls don't have that same stuff going on from themselves where they got side pieces.
I'm gonna jump in real quick because I think we got a call or something like that. First of all, you would have to be. I'm gonna address the actual clip first. I'm trying to choose my words very, very careful at the beginning.
Let it fly.
If you have created a brand for yourself and you're operating under a more PG-13 type of a program, because WWE is not what it used to be. It's more of a family-friendly type of a show now. And the people don't know how to separate real life from the character. You're going to struggle with maintaining a certain type of an image. The only people who get affected by these type of scandals or social occurrences are folks who don't really get a lot of TV screen time. I don't remember which Uso it was, but one of them kept getting in trouble with like having anger management problems, drinking and shit, getting arrested and shit. I don't know which one it was. But even with that, they still was getting slaps on the wrist. Like, they weren't getting punished for that, for real.
I think it was both of them, I think, at one point.
Yeah, like,
I could be wrong. Because one of them had a couple of DUIs under their record.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they'll go but so far with certain people. I don't personally, as a fan or once was a fan, what you do in your private life doesn't really concern me. what you do in the ring concerns me. Like if I'm picking apples and oranges, I'm not going to stop being a fan of the person because they cheating or they got other stuff going on. If you were like a pedophile or you was on some shit like that, I would stop. I would immediately not touch that at all. I don't know if they were seeing each other, him and Jada Parker, while him and his wife was going through. I don't know if they were separated. We just speculating. I don't know if they were happy and he was doing stuff behind her back. I don't know none of that. All I know is better question is, should he be punished because of the infidelity? And it's funny that Max had brought up Bray because me and you talked about the Bray thing before, and I felt like they kind of tried to come at Bray because of the JoJo situation, but he didn't really. Oh, that's a whole nother thing, man. I don't condone cheating. I don't condone none of that. I respect the fact that he found a way to keep it private for as long as he did. But I think once he came out and he was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm fucking around with Jada Parker. Once he did that, I already knew then he didn't care anymore at that point. And there's a reason why he didn't care no more. I don't know what the reason was, but he was done. He checked out, and it is what it is. I don't expect wrestlers, man or woman, to be faithful. I don't expect none of them to be loyal. You gotta be a special type of man or woman to do that. With the, I mean, and I'm gonna land the plane here. With the women, if it was probably somebody like, I don't know, Candice Michelle or somebody like that, Charlotte Flair is not getting punished for no scandals. Becky Lynch ain't getting punished for nothing like that. Hell, when Ronda Rousey was there, Ronda Rousey wasn't going to get no type of resentment for that. So I think it really depends on, like Max said, the status and level of a person. But favoritism is so like prevalent in that company. You would have to literally be caught on camera being racist or doing something extremely stupid for them to really reprimand you. Are you?
Yeah, I just think the bigger the draw, touching back on what you said, I mean, you gotta, what it is the drawing power that you generate for the company. If they view you as someone that's real valuable and things like that, you know, they can work with you. They can work with you. It was a situation with NXT star, Emma. She did some shoplifting. She wasn't no damn draw. They fired her. You see what I'm saying? So it could be some harsh, some petty little incidences, and they get rid of you for that because you're not making them no money. But then it can be something major, and they'll probably work with you because you are making them some money. So I mean, that's just how I view the punishments. If you want to give out punishments to certain people, you gotta have something backing you. Um, I'm not gonna get on here and condone cheating either. Is fucking wrong. It's betrayal. You know what I'm saying? And it's foul. It's foul, people. I don't care if it's the man or the woman. It's bad. It's bad. Um, but it is the way it is the way it's done. Touching on that Bray Wyatt situation, he got, I believe he got a little backlash because of the way it was done. You know, you can be with who you want to be with. You know, we touched on that before, but when you do it, you need to do it. You need to leave right. Like in both of these situations with Bray, you know, he had a thing with JoJo. They started doing their thing, but he had a whole family over there. And once again, in his situation, shoot, his wife, it was kind of like the situation with Jay. She wasn't a star. She wasn't no WWE superstar, nothing like that. She was a stay-at-home mom, but he had kids with her. So I mean, if you're gonna go out here and do these things, which I do agree with you, people be on the road 300 something days a year. That was all the way back in the day. It's going to happen. If you got a relationship or something that you got special at home, you might want to check that at the door because you're gonna be on the road and stuff do happen, stuff will happen. So nowadays, if you a fan and you've been watching, a lot of these relationships with these wrestlers, man, they are dating people that they work with because they on the road with them. So that should show you right there that infidelity happened a lot in that company just by looking at all these relationships and who they with. So all of them be on each other. So with that being said, Jay, I mean, only thing I can say with him is that he's it's not a crime for him to like who he like. It's just the way it was done. You got a fame to protect, you know. I don't think he was looking at that his drawing power, that the company don't view him as just a Uso now. They view him as main event. I can put you in this. I can put you in this storyline. And I think he's just still the twin brother, and they don't view him like that no more. So that's where he kind of got it fucked up. And Jada Parker, shoot, by her even messing with him or dealing with him, it's going to increase her value in the company because he's associated with the higher ups, like the top stars like Roman Reigns, and then the final balls, The Rock, come back, and all of a sudden she might be in a storyline where she in a female bloodline. Stay tuned for that one. That might happen. So I mean, it's some benefits in dating Jey Uso. She gets some perks. So we gotta keep that on the watch. But the bottom line is, with both scenarios, Bray and Jay, the bottom line is, if you're gonna do that, do that. But let's close the door when you do that. That's what I got on it. If you're gonna do that, do it, but close the door. Take care at home first. I don't think neither one of them did that. According to that report with the wife, she's upset that he's going public with this, playing in her face, however she want to take it. And now she wants to control over the kids and all of that, even though he been a good dad on TV and behind the scenes. Now he got to pay that. So we gotta be fair with the whole thing. Um, ain't no way, to me, in my opinion, ain't no way the relationship could get that bad if it wasn't no cracks already in the armor. That's how I look at it. I mean, y'all got your opinion, but that's my opinion. I think it was already some cracks there for him to even do what he did. But you got to take care of home. You got to make sure, you can see your kids and iron all the layout out, and then make your mind up. You can't do this and then try to stay, married and stuff like that. So I think that's what get these people's caught up. Got
One thing I said about the big Tigger situation with his wife is that if you as a woman are going to take this walk with someone who is of a certain caliber, you know what comes with that person. We're not going to pretend like You don't know that they get more attention, they get more open doors, more opportunities. They have more people willing to do things for them that the average person wouldn't be able to get away with. And as that woman who chooses or selects that man to have offspring with and to be in a relationship with and to give your body and time to, you have to make a decision. Are you willing to put up and deal with the lifestyle that comes with this person wholeheartedly? Because I know it looked fun, it looks extravagant, but are you lying to yourself? Are you in denial when you say you're cool with it because of the money and because of the security? Are you lying to yourself when you think that, oh, you're probably going to be the only one that he's looking at? Are you okay with the fact that a lot of these women are going to be throwing it back at him? Are you cool with that? Can you trust him to come home to you and only you? Or are you cool with being the one that he's coming home to it, but he has other options out there as he's coming and going in and out their house, and you don't see him for 246 days, 100 something days out of the year? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the dynamic was in their house, but you handle your disagreements and your issues at home before you decide that you want to step out and venture off into something else. Period. Even if you don't even want to have the conversation, you're going to have to do it because you don't want to be here. This is what you don't want. And you're probably a good parent and all that, but she don't care about you being a good parent. She cares about the fact that you crossed the line, you broke vows, she's hurt, and now you got to pay extra for it. Some stuff just don't need to be attached to that. You can be hurt about the infidelity. Don't take it out on the kids because of the infidelity. Remove that aside. Everything else, I understand. The parental right stuff, nah.
I think you know what. If I could be honest, I see what you're saying, but here's where this is the one of the few times I might defend this whole taking advantage of a divorce. In this instance, I think I see why she wants to take custody because he is publicly flaunting may or may not be the cause of their divorce. Because I know situations where if my father is doing is purposely cheating on my mother and I'm around that, I'm pretty sure my mother would not want me around that. She'd be like, no, you're coming home, you're staying with me, you're staying away from him until he gets his stuff together or finds a way to protect you from that. Because you have to consider the fact that he's brought one of the kids to the shows. So that means he's potentially probably seen stuff behind closed doors. Potentially. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say that Jay don't care what he does backstage with his son, like what he lets his son see. But at the same time, it's possible. So if there's any room for error where he sees any inclination of his dad fooling around with some other woman, like even if it's just being, kissy face, whatever, and it's not his mom, I'm pretty sure she's not going to want her kids around that. And in this case, I understand that because now she can't trust that he's going to protect the kids from that side of things. Because if we're going from the perspective of the fact that she's trusting that for 12 years, she's trusted that this man is just doing work. He travels and he shows up maybe twice a week, if not once. And he's keeping chill at work. But if he's doing this, and I don't know how she found out, I don't know in what way, but and then she finds out that he's doing this, then she's not gonna trust anything now as far as like having the kids around him. Like unless maybe he comes to the house and Jada is nowhere to be seen. And I think that in this case that makes a lot of sense to have custody of the kids or primary custody of them.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Like if he has a history, to me, if he has a history of abuse of any kind and he's been extremely irresponsible with who he brings around him, she's noticed the patterns because the DUI stuff and all that. You probably have a case and an argument for that.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all grown, and that's one of the side effects of this situation because you knew this woman since you were a teenager, and you jump into this business. It demands damn near all of your time and attention. You're away from your people, and you're around all this temptation. What's the conversation like with you and your partner? Like she had to know this was his dream. This is what he was going to eventually do. What do you say to someone? Like, how do you reaffirm to them that I got you covered, you safe here, and then you find out that everything that we built just got completely destroyed from you being on the road, or I just realized that I couldn't do it. I couldn't live under these circumstances. I thought I could handle you doing this. I can't.
Yeah.
But you know, to keep it real though, to keep it real, man. Shoot, it's hard to if he wasn't happy with her, which I'm assuming he wasn't happy with her ass. It's hard. Take the fame and all that away and put it to the side. It's hard for a dude to step off, man, on that merge, man, and you got them kids, bro, because you don't know. You see how this play out. How many times uh a woman do that? Like I say, it's double standards, and the man can pull what she just did. It don't go that way. So we gotta look at it for what it is. So how do you get out of that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He probably been wasn't happy with her ass, but he like, damn, I know I'm a good father. I do take care of the kids. I might been a horrible husband lately, but you know, I'm fond of my kids. I spend time. You know what I'm saying? And then how you know this? She don't be on camera a lot. It ain't like she be in the company with him backstage and all that. So how you know she ain't been holding him down at home? He been on the
Well,
road. You don't
yeah.
know
Well,
that. I mean,
yeah.
the kids be home for the most part. They don't be with dad. They be with mom. So how you know that mom ain't been holding it down? You don't know that part. You see what I'm saying? How you know he might then come home off the road and quarter with something? You don't know that. But even if all that went down, guess what? The merge was still intact, and then he started probably looking elsewhere because of trust and believe. Jimmy, his brother, the twin brother, he been looking at a female wrestler in Naomi. Think about that. Think about him dating Naomi way back. Now they got the baby now, but think about how long they been married and how long they was a couple and all of that. And Jay was his twin brother, and they a tag team. You don't think no other female superstars was throwing shots at the twin brother? You tripping. You tripping with
well,
that.
I mean, look,
Now,
to be fair,
now,
it's just a
now
scenario. I'm sorry.
he probably didn't take take the debate because let's just say he been married with her for 12 years, like she say, and that was his high school sweetheart, like they say. So they've been together since they were young. But I'm just saying, once Jey Uso caught some separation with the twin brother with Jimmy and got that fame, come on, that's what it is. You don't know how many temptations that man had to turn down because he married. I mean,
Yeah.
his life changed for the last 2 or 3 years. He ain't the same superstar he was like 15, 16 years ago, bro. He not.
No, no, it's evidence of the fact that, you know, how you carry yourself as a man also matters. I want to say that I agree with certain pastors like Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell, who there was a clip of him saying like men need to step up because we are the head of every marriage and we lead by example by default, even biblically speaking. So when you step out on that marriage, that is stepping out of a covenant, whether you a Christian or not, that's still a covenant created by God. So you step out on that, you bring a lot of damage. And you have to consider the fact that look, yeah, a lot of temptation come at us because we're still guys. We're still gonna be attracted to people, but you gotta consider everything. Self-control is a very powerful fruit of the spirit. And if you can't hold that down to the point where you can't even get yourself to not even touch another woman like that while you still have your wifey at home, then you got to consider, you got to repent and you got to fix yourself. His reputation, obviously, I don't know what his spiritual life is like, obviously, but you know, brother got to repent, come to Christ, and just be like, get right with God, and just do right by his family going forward. Because the perspective that I've seen in real life, where like it makes sense why she would fight for custody, because if the only reason why I think that is because if she recently found out about Jada and he had already brought one of the kids around the shows, it's the one possible scenario I could think of is probably maybe that's why, because I could see why. If that's the case, then it makes sense. If it's just because she's very hurt, then okay, you're lashing out on your children by keeping them away from their dad. But if it's because she doesn't want them in that environment, then fine. I don't know what she does at home. Obviously, we don't know what she be doing. But seeing how this kind of like just came out real quick, and it didn't seem like the biggest blast like that. It's only a blast because of who he is right now and because of what family he's attached to. That's why it's gonna get buzz. The fact that she kind of like, it's not like she wrote a whole thing on Twitter, like, because I remember when Bray Wyatt's wife was really upset, she put it out there, and I remember that. I was like, wow, bro. Let me tell you something. Ride or dies. If you get a ride or die in your life, you keep that woman. As long as she is being your helper, as the Bible describes, a man is not good for man to be alone. He shall have a helper. If you got a woman that lives by that, you keep that woman. You do not find any reason to torment that. If there's something going on, you get counseling. You
Why
do
is not
whatever it is to protect that.
why it's not good
But
for a man to be alone?
because it requires teamwork. I kind of don't know why, but I would imagine like, look, you need connection. God is
Mm-hmm.
about also connection, right? The whole point is to have a spiritual relationship with the Lord, with Christ and the Heavenly Father. So on a human level, it makes sense why he would say it's not good for man to be alone. Now, granted, and what that means is like, look, if you're single and you okay with that, it's good for you to like have community. If you don't have an intimate partner, have community. So that's what he means. But in this case, because it's based on Genesis, he's talking about let me bring in this woman, because he's having a plan where everything is like, okay, I got my people that are going to repopulate everything, and it goes from there, because that was the beginning of human existence. So it's not good for man to be alone. if you've been blessed with a woman who is ride or die, you keep that. That is not easy to find most of nowadays. It is not easy to find.
Facts.
And so, you know, and the argument is out there. So, brothers, if you're in the entertainment industry, if you're not, even if you're not, keep your ride or dies. It's not easy. Don't let your ego get in the way of who's been there from the beginning, because that is, you could either keep that as a beautiful story, or you could easily destroy that because you've been tempted by the enemy. Do not let yourself do it. It is not worth, lust is not worth the damage that follows. It is not worth it, especially. Yeah,
Now,
it is
now,
not. It's not worth the damage. Yeah.
now with Jey Uso, do you think that uh with the affair that he had, let's just say he had the affair, he already had an affair with Jada Parker. To me, I just think it's a difference in him just having an affair with Jada Parker and pursuing her and being in a relationship. I think it's two different things, because if you just had an affair, that's one thing. That don't mean that your marriage just got to be over like that. But if you, what he doing is, I'm letting you know that I'm choosing Jada over you. That's pretty much what he put out there
Yeah.
on the gram. I like this woman now. That's
Yeah.
different. That's different than just having the one joint. And when he did that, that's what flared everything up. Because
Mm.
now it's like I don't want the family with you no more. I want something new. I don't want the
That's
family with you.
still, that could still be led by lust. That could still be. I mean, granted, look, I don't know if even like they strain. Yeah, I get it. If their relationship is strained, but you don't, you don't cut ties like that. Like,
Come on,
if
man.
if he's because he's already doing this while he's married. Even if he's
Right.
choosing another woman, you got to properly cut ties, because that spills into the stuff.
How many
Because now you've
but
exposed your children to that.
You gotta be
how many times a man have stepped out on, let's just say they stepped out on their marriage but never chose a woman over their wife? It always happened.
but that's what I said earlier. You gotta like look. I'm gonna put it as plain as possible. I'm a wealthy man. Don't matter what sport I'm in. I don't want to settle. I want a polyamorous setup. I want a wife, but I want to be where I can exercise practicing or going to and fro as I please, because I'm Vince McMahon, damn it. I made this money. I got that crown. I got that title. If I prefer to have a woman at home and be outside, why would I fear you walking away? I would just have the conversation with you and say, this is what I want to do. Do you agree to these terms and conditions? Yes. Okay. No. Okay. That's not what happened here.
Yeah.
It seemed it's like, why don't people just cut out the awkwardness, be upfront with like what's happening, be honest with yourself. You know damn well what comes with this environment that you about to be in.
Exactly.
So either you and her are not being honest about what you're about to get into, or you're just in denial about it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, because granted, like, obviously this is strictly opinion. So, take what we say with a grain of salt, people, but because we don't know everything, but this is based on possible theories that the affair, or an actual relationship. You're still stepping out on a covenant relationship. And like I get what you mean that like, yeah, it's one thing if you have a one night stand. There's something about a one night stand versus choosing a whole woman for the long haul. But we don't know what's driving that because that could still be lustful. Sometimes lust is not always strictly sexual. Sometimes it's just you have this overall obsession with the idea of the person. So it could easily drag on. Like I like if you ever seen Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? This is a good example. No matter how you feel about Tyler Perry stuff, this movie does a good example of this. One of the characters steps out on his wife for multiple reasons, it seems. He is not attracted to his wife because she is heavyset and all that. It's a couple, it's not just like, oh, there's no sex. It's the fact that she is not this perfectly proportioned woman anymore. So he has this side piece, and one of the guys talks about the 80-20 rule. Now he's like, look, I always told you guys about the 80-20 rule. He's got his wife is the 80%. Now here comes this woman offering 20%. It looks good when you're not getting it, but you risk 80% of what you already have for the sake of this 20% that you're lacking for a period of time. Sometimes it's a season of where you get tempted for the thing that you are lacking in what you have right now. Instead of working it out, you end up stepping out. So don't, obviously I don't know what the reality is with Jay and his now ex-wife. I don't know what the details are, but face value wise, this is unfortunate that it came to that. I just pray that they stay peaceful, and he leads with logic and not by any potential lustful feelings in his heart, because it's an industry that has allowed him to get slap on the wrist the most so far. And him and his brother have they have a decent reputation, but at the same time they got a couple of things under their belt. And that's the thing with sometimes, like, we got to hold everyone to a standard. I remember Ziggy Jackson, one of Michael Jackson's nephews, spoke about something that makes a lot of sense I didn't think about. He mentioned how one of the guys that accused his uncle of Wade Robinson accused his uncle of doing molestation. He had a history of just messing around with people. Like when he dated Britney Spears, she was with Justin Timberlake, and what he mentioned was that what you don't realize is that when you do that, when you break up a couple and this in the public eye, you mess not only with them, but you mess with whoever's attached to them. And the industry is not as big as people think. There's a lot of networking that everyone knows. You mess with the caboose that comes with them. So that's their management. That is their assistants. That's their labels. All that. You mess with your whole business reputation, because now your business, you are the product of your own business. Jey Uso as the wrestler is that product. As an actor, we are our product. So we have to represent ourselves well. So yes, because you're potentially in the public eye, it's something to heavily consider how you carry yourself. Even as a man of God, you have to carry yourself a certain way. We are held to a higher standard because there's things that we have to be obedient to that people who are outside, who don't follow that faith, may not follow to the T, but we are called to follow to a certain T. So if you consider the fact that if you want to treat your fame as your religion, you have to keep in mind who you are messing with and what that does to your business. Because now the potential thing is, if they really like each other, then all right, I get that, but the way you went about it is not okay. But I just pray that Jada is not with him for the wrong reasons. I got an Uso. I'm with a Samoan. Half of their family, one of the family members runs the board of directors in TKO. She's in NXT. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I just pray that that's not the case at the very least,
But
because because a lot of people they don't get to be in the spotlight. These guys are always on the spotlight. They're always the top storyline. If you watch wrestling, literally them, Roman, they're literally the good. They're literally good fellas, all 24/7 with the bloodline storyline.
Hey, look, real quick. Six Rings. I want you to close out with your thoughts on this, because I want to jump into the second portion. The Nolan Wills drink. Because this whole section right here, fire, and like y'all both made some hella good points, but I want to give you a opportunity to give some last thoughts on this portion, because I want to jump into this other clip.
okay, no problem. Touching back on what you said up top, man. That is true. It's opportunistic type of deal for Jada Parker. I mean, if you're dating a older man, he's older than her too. He's like what, at least almost 20 years older than her.
Mm,
Yeah, because he's in his 40s, she's still in her 20s. You're gonna benefit off of that career he already had. And the fact that he's in the most top-notch family in the company. So you're gonna benefit off that alone, just by the relationship. But outside of that, I mean, if they've been dealing with each other for a while, it starts off as, an affair, then it grows into a relationship because you start to like the person that you with. And I think that's what the wife is upset about. As far as his kids, they got a right to be around dad and his profession, whether it's hundreds of divas. That's his profession. That's their father. That's the business. The wife knew that. The wife probably knew that back when they was in school. The father was in the business, Rikishi. So that comes with dating Jey Uso, whoever you gonna be. Um, but outside of that, them two falling for each other and everything like that. Um, this just should have been talked out, man. And I don't think, and to me, I don't think she had to take that approach with the house. Said she took the house in Georgia, took the kids, and all of that. I mean, look, we get it. We know women get furious when he got a younger woman. That's what he got. He went younger on her, and I hate to say it, that's called a victory. You get a win like that. I mean, that's how they take it anyway. Like you was with me in my prime. Now you reset the clock and you get a fresh off the market woman that probably ain't have a lot of. Let's just be real. She probably have a whole rack of bodies. Not too many. And now she in a serious committed with him. So that's what's stinging the wife. So we gotta put some emphasis on that, and, and hopefully she can come off with the kids. Whether, let's just say, him and Jada Parker start a family, they move in together, however that go, and they got two separate households. I mean, the stuff happens, but that don't mean just because a relationship fail, it don't mean that you're a bad parent. That's I just wanted to put that out there, and hopefully they can settle everything a little better. But the blast, I'm gonna end it right here. The blast came because of the fame that he has. So that's what also I don't like. They blasted him because he's main event Jey Uso. He's Roman Reigns' cousin. He bloodline, and we're going to take down his character a little bit. So this might hurt his push a little bit. So he probably be away from the title because this story right here is considered a distraction for the business. So hopefully
mm,
he'll bounce back.
yeah, yeah. Um, Final thought is keep your nose clean going forward. Think about what you're doing, and knowing WWE, they're probably gonna hide him for a minute and bring him back later. so that way people have a chance to forget about what's going on a little bit. Because I remember when Paige had her video exposed, they did not have Xavier Woods showing up like they normally would. You had audience members, and I was there for this in the Barclays Center. They were chanting, "You did Paige," and they use the other word obviously on TV, but they were chanting what happened. So they do things to hide that stuff. But let this be a lesson to y'all. Control your lust, get spiritual help, and think about what you are risking and what you are doing. Because infidelity is very dangerous. Pride and lust are one of the biggest hinders to your walk in life as a man, whether you Christian or not. Seek Jesus and get right with the Lord and stay there. That's all I gotta say. Goose.
I want to segue into this last clip, man. The final topic, the update. Nolan Wells was found in the water after going on a trip with his 3 white compadres. They made it home. He didn't. Nobody has any answers. When I spoke about this on Tuesday, I told y'all exactly how I felt. I knew they were going to try to cover up stuff. I knew they were going to try to have excuses set in motion. Well, we got some updates. The girl that they say that he was with, she's openly said she's going to, give her story. She's going to testify and all of that stuff. But I do have a clip I want to play. It's like 42 seconds. And seeing as how I didn't get chop it up with these gentlemen on that prior, we're going to expand on that a little bit more here. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to let it play. And I will turn it over.
Y'all, breaking news. We got breaking news on the case. The family of Nolan Wells has obtained Benjamin Crump. Also, I've been hearing on social media that all his so-called friends deleted all their social media accounts, man. Do this make sense? No, of course it don't. What they're doing is trying to hide evidence. They're trying to push themselves away from Nolan Wells. We all know they murdered this kid. Now we need justice. Again, the family of Nolan Wells has obtained Benjamin Crump. All right, y'all, breaking news. We got breaking news on the case.
All right. That was the clip.
Can I get some context on what that is about?
So basically, again, Nolan went on a trip with 3 white guys. They made it home. They say he stayed back, a Caucasian girl. And then he goes missing. Someone finds his body in the water in Mississippi. His cell phone is with the parents, but it wasn't with his person when they found his body. This clip is an update to what's currently happening. They basically said they left him to go hang out with the girl. There was an audio or a clip of an argument going on. It wasn't real clear as to what was happening in the audio. Um, but basically, he was killed. They made it home. They cut off their social media. They took all of it away. Got lawyered up. One of the guy's father is a judge or like has a high ranking position with the judicial system, a doctor or something like that. Uh, just a real funny, suspicious scenario altogether. Everybody's basically saying they don't know what happened.
Oh, I see. So no one really knows what happened to him.
Well, they're claiming they don't know what happened, but my whole theory is they know what happened. They set it up. They're pretending like they had nothing to do with it, and their alibi is they left him while he went to go be with this girl, and yeah, I just don't buy the story at all. So I asked, like, at the bottom, because I know you've been following this a little bit yourself. Have you heard anything different than what I've already shown, or like what are your thoughts on the whole situation?
Yeah, man. So this another case, man. Only thing I can bring up is the situation with Carmelo Anthony again, man. I mean, I look at this as like somewhat a retaliation to that situation with Austin Metcalf. When you had these scenarios play out the way they do, um, it make you think, it make you scratch your head. So the one thing I can pinpoint with the Nolan and Carmelo situation is that the one thing that's the same is that you keep hearing these damn stories, man. Like why once again, why we got to keep hearing something different? Like I said before, the truth don't fight back. So why is fighting? So it's lies in it. That's called lying because you can't come up with all these stories and all of it be the truth. It don't make sense. Um, what they saying in the beginning was he stayed back. They on the boat. They was all on the boat together. It was a little arguing up on the shore. They got on the boat. They left him back at the joint. He didn't want to get on there with them. He stayed back with the girl, like you said, and somehow they ended up with Nolan's phone. They ended up with Nolan's phone. Why was Nolan's phone not with him? Everybody saying that. Then we hearing the phone got to Nolan's parents. So Nolan's parents, after they discovered the body, Nolan's parents recovered the phone. Nolan's parents looked at his phone and saw deleted text messages from the phone. You hear that? Like why is something deleted? So from what they say they took his body and shipped it to DC. They doing an autopsy over there on his body, and they want a full blown investigations because when somebody passes like that and nobody don't know nothing, that's a whole conviction right there. When somebody's asking, like I said, like when they was on the stand with the Carmelo thing, when somebody asks a question, they asked Eddie a question, and he lied. You didn't disrespected that whole situation. You see what I'm saying? Somebody asks you a question, you tell them what happened, and that's not what what they got. No, they still shouldn't be looking for justice, but they are, and that's what it is. Then somebody painted the scenario of hell. Let's just like with the Carmelo and Austin Metcalf situation. Let's flip it. You see what I'm saying? Let's say it was 3 black boys on there, and one white boy didn't make it, and he died. I think all 3 of their ass would be in custody. What you think? I think all 3 of them would have been in custody, and until they got some answers out them boys about what happened to that boy that passed, that white boy that passed. That's how these scenarios play out. So with that being said, it's going to be a big investigation. Of course it is. But to me, it's just a retaliation off of that outcome that people still can't digest properly. You got it.
My suggestion was to get 2 autopsies done. I mean, well, get a second one, get a second opinion, because yeah, they're going to do one, but just like with the 21-year-old black man that was hung out there at that HBSU, they did an autopsy on him and lied about the first one. Then the family had to get a second opinion to find out what actually happened, because they tried to tell you that he broke his legs and still managed to hang himself. So I suggest you get a second opinion just to make sure that you're covered, completely covered. These people are notorious for using their power and their position to get over on people who do not have the resources or the patience or the community to really come together, formulate a systematic plan to ensure that things are handled properly without any interference or tampering. He trusted them. They made him feel like he was a part of their group. The boat belonged to one of them. So they had the money. They knew exactly where they wanted to go. They knew this. They had to have known to some extent the location. Why are you with this man's property? Why do you have it? Why is it not with him? And then on top of that, why would you shut down your entire social media? All of you cut all contact and communication with the world. Who advised that? There's a reason for that. Digital footprint, timestamps. There's things that you don't want to show up. You're going to have to take legal action to pry any of this. And then by then, it's probably going to be erased. Or they're going to make it very difficult to prove that they had any involvement with that. Which is one of the reasons why I feel, and I don't think anybody here believes that there was an outside entity that was involved in this. I'm curious to know what this white girl is going to say. If she was paid off, if she's going to be honest. I'm curious about how this whole story is going to be presented. It's just sad. It's very unfortunate, and I try not to make this stuff so much about race because everybody is capable of moving funny like this. In this situation, though, the lack of discernment is frightening. Because I don't think all white men and white women operate like this, but based off of the last year or two, the hangings and just this recent one with the woman going to Miami and she ended up hung and all that. Nah, I'm not fucking around with none of you. I'm not hanging out with a single soul that's opposite of my complexion. Not right now. I don't know if it had anything to do with the Carmelo stuff though. I don't know what the motive was.
Yeah, that's a pattern right there. Though.
Well, you got to look at the fact that this took place in Mississippi. That's another red flag. We did one with two twins drowned, talking about they were saving one another, but they both lost their life in the lake. That was crazy. That was in Mississippi. You see what I'm saying? So, um, when is enough is enough. When is enough is enough. Um, we're not gonna deteriorate and try to go around and around that word racism. No, we need to collide with it. I want a whole collision because that's what time it is right now. So we're not gonna tiptoe around that because this is a prime example of what false accusations look like. Now you just said that they deleted their accounts and stuff, right? On Facebook. Ain't that's what happened with what's the girl name? Shamikwa went to where she go to Jamaica? I think she went to Cancun or something. One of those, and they beat that girl. They beat that girl to death and killed her there. And all of them deactivated their accounts. You see what I'm saying? Went on a friend's trip, invited her to a trip, and she lost her life. She lost her life, and that's similar to what we talking about now with Nolan. He lost his life. Austin Metcalf lost his life. You see what I'm saying? See, they this is we can't tiptoe around what we seeing here. We're not gonna make all these incidences like, oh, it's just another big coincidence. Whoop de doo, hope de dope. Nah, it ain't none of that. We gotta face it head on and let's try to solve these issues here. Now you go to his family, go to Nolan's family. Nolan played football. He was an athlete. How many of y'all did any one of you brothers watch the movie O with Mekhi Phifer in it? Anybody familiar with that?
Can't
If you
say
if
can't
you
say I
haven't,
am.
if his name they called him O for short, but if you're not familiar with it, go watch his whole name was Othello. Go watch that movie and get back with me. Because if you look at that movie and what we talking about with Nolan, it match up pretty good.
Oh, are you talking about? This is the modern day Othello movie you're talking about, right? From like
Yes.
2001.
There
Yeah, I know
you
what that.
go.
I know that
There
one.
you
Then
go.
yeah, now I know.
Now, going back to that movie, Othello, since you know I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with that. O was went to school. He played basketball real good, and he went to school with a bunch of white kids. He was friends with one of the white kids. He befriended them and everything like that. But the white kid was jealous of O because he was black and because he played ball real good. He was the best player, and he was jealous because he had a white girlfriend that he liked. So he befriended him He befriend him, and then he start playing these tricks with his head to take him down, saying stuff like he knew that he was real fond of the white girl and they was cool. He started making tricks with him, saying that she's cheating on him and everything. Made him kill the girl, and ended up told him it was a lie and ruined his life. You see what I'm saying? So if you watch that, you'll see the resemblance with this. So this was probably some three jealous white boys, jealous of Nolan. Nolan was a great athlete. Nolan came from a dynamite family, dynamite father, great mom, was brung up right, probably had college recruits, all that going for his life. And they looked at that you know, man, he jied doing it. So I mean, and then I believe they invited him out. You see what I'm saying? So you get somebody out, you know what I'm saying, on an island or something, man. Man, you got seeds planted out there. We gonna get this Joker. So basically, what I'm saying is three. It was three of them. It was one of him. So how do we know that this wasn't a planned attack all alone to to get him away, to isolate him from his family so they can do this number on him? It happens all the time. So how we know it wasn't like that? Got him on that boat, you know what I'm saying? Rocked the boat, got him away from them people, and put and then did that number on him and drowned him, or how they got rid of him. They had to get rid of him. You know why? Because he was a threat. He was competition. And most of all, they got rid of him because, let's face it, he was black. So we ain't gonna keep running away from this, and oh man, that's just speculation. Oh man, and you just jumping to conclusions. How the hell I'm jumping to conclusions when the same damn story keep repeating? How is that a damn you know what I'm saying?
Bang, bang,
If the same
bang.
if the same damn story keep repeating, we're gonna put the pieces together and say what it is. Put it on the table. You didn't like Nolan. That's why it went down. You didn't like him. You couldn't stand Nolan's parents. You couldn't stand how he came up. You couldn't stand his damn grades he got. You know what I'm saying? They was jealous, bro. And they just needed an isolated place to do this. And a good reason to get him away. They've been probably had it in for his ass. Think about it. When you're doing the right thing, we always talk about it. Could we do the right thing? Let's do it the right way. Carmelo had two parents. He played football. You know what I'm saying? He trying to do it the right way. And they looking at that like dad, his hate to say it, but they looking like that. His life a little better than mine, man. It's kids out there that look at that, man. He got his parents, I don't got mine. You see what I'm saying? So that stuff creeping people's heads, man, and they start doing devilish things. And I think that's probably the case here with Nolan. So it's sad, bro. It's sad, but we're not gonna tiptoe around the obvious. We can't do that. You got it.
Yeah, bro. I actually alluded to the same thing. They got his trust, and they picked exactly where, when, and how they was going to get it done.
That's wow. That is like something out of a movie, man. And yeah, if there's a pattern of brothers getting whacked off for whatever reason, you're ignoring something. This is like, I don't know how many weeks we've been on this show that I'm hearing about these kind of stories. I don't know how much the news be covering it, but clearly there's a lot of stuff happening that is true. Like I remember years ago when Occupy Wall Street happened, and I was in school, I was in college. I was asking two classmates, "What do you guys think of this whole thing?" They're like, "It's nothing new. It's just that it's on camera now." You know how many things happened back in the day, but you didn't hear about it, most likely because the cameras weren't there for it. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just how it's presented. So, given given that story, like, yeah, like why you have the man's phone, unless you're doing something good with it. I don't know why you have it, but you're gonna go Othello on him over whatever reason, man. You got deep rooted issues, man. Even with the context of your game, I'm just like there are no words. I don't know what else to say.
Nah, to be honest with you, I was asked if I was gonna do an update on this. And I said yeah. Why not? Because main media don't cover these stories for real, for real.
Yep,
The only reason I knew about it was because I was on TikTok. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
So, and even like as I'm speaking to you right now, there's 2 other cases of black boys that's come up missing, or their bodies been discovered in some weird way. It's nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastics.
Yep.
We gotta pray more. We gotta get back in the word. We gotta start fellowshipping more. We gotta start attacking these situations head on. Like the brother said at the bottom, and you got to start being more careful with who you let enter your house. I'm not talking about your physical house. I'm talking about like your fleshly vessel. You got to be careful with who you got around you.
Yep. Bad company produces bad fruit.
Right. And it's getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody not your friend.
Yep. Not everyone's your friend, bro.
Everybody not your friend, and you don't supposed to go on trips like that to a damn island with somebody that really didn't like your ass from the beginning.
And that's what I was saying too. Like, I know damn well if we go somewhere and we out, I'm not leaving without you. You're not staying behind and I'm just gonna no. We came here together, we leaving together.
Facts. That's a red flag. Yep. Because how come they made sure all them got back and they looked out for each other, but said the hell with him. You know, I mean, back you taking trips like that and you're supposed to be with your buddies. Hell, the way I came up, man, you know, whoever I knew, we all knew each other moms and all that. Ain't nobody gonna let nobody go back and they don't know where they kid at. We all stuck to, you know. That's how it went. You know, we all got moms, so we gotta go back.
Yeah. That's how. Yeah. No, it's one of the things that we can learn from women. Like, it's one of the things you can take from women. Like when they go together, they stay together. They have to stay together. And the same thing applies to guys.
And the reason why
take from the girls.
And the reason why I say it moms, because ain't nothing like a mom's pain, man, over a child. So don't nobody want to see that. So even if between the friends, even if somebody beefing or whatever, man, we're gonna make sure you get back home and get back with your family, and then we get up with each other later. But we ain't gonna do nothing like that. That's real fishy. How you gonna take somebody out where he don't even know where he at and leave him, man? We supposed to go into the same school and all that. I thought we was all right. But the truth is, Nolan stood out. and Nolan wasn't really accepted by them other three boys. He wasn't accepted, man. And we all know why he wasn't accepted. Look at him and look at them. That's why he wasn't accepted. And that's why the three left him, and that's why they made it back home and he didn't. Because of what they didn't look at Nolan like one of them. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't accept him into the brotherhood. They couldn't do that.
Are they from the South? The three guys, are they from the South?
So they sure act like it.
I don't know. I remember. I mean, this is old, obviously. But I know that like the South was so bad at one point. The South can be good or bad depending on who you talk to. But I read somewhere like I remember when Sidney Poitier did In the Heat of the Night. Obviously, this was in the '60s. This is like peak Jim Crow. Dude, it was so bad they had to protect him at all costs, and that was an actor. Can you imagine an everyday dude having to walk down there on a regular basis? In that movie, he plays a detective, and that brother was getting hunted down like nothing. In the narrative, that's just a microscope of what was most likely happening in real life. And when I read that, like, yeah, he had to be chaperoned to the T just to protect him from anyone, any people who had this racial hate towards black people. So I can't imagine now. I mean, I would like to imagine that's a little better, but hearing stories like that's insane. That's just very sad. That's something out of like crime shows, man. That's the kind of thing Law and Order would pick up.
In a time like that, when that happened for him, he kind of stood out as a nice black actor because it wasn't that many. When you're a minority and you on the level like that, all eyes is on you. Look. When he look around him, he ain't had nobody like him that was doing that.
No, not really. He was one of
So
the few, and he carried himself a certain way. Sorry.
That was another thing. All eyes was on him, and because he stood out and he was considered a threat because, like you just stated, how he carried himself, and that breeds jealousy and hate.
Yeah.
Why you can't be like what we look at all of y'all like? Why can't you do that?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, I have his book. He said, The Measurement of a Man. He said in his book, I always carried myself as like I would tell them, I am not a black actor. I'm an actor. Like he took that stigma away because then you categorize yourself. Like now, girls they don't put actress too many times. Now they say female actor or they just say actor. They just include everybody in it, no matter what the gender is. But that's probably for multiple different reasons. But the point being applied that it's not like you're saying like imagine the Oscars had best black actor in the motion picture, like a whole category just because of that instead of just being included. Like he made himself included. That's why if you look at his roles, a lot of them were very primitive. A brother playing a homicide detective in the 1960s, and this is right at the peak of MLK and right on the peak of Malcolm X's movements and the Black Panthers, the
Bullseye
Young
on his
Lords.
back.
Forget about it, because he slapped someone in that movie. He did a thing that people were like, "Yo, what?" And props to the movie producers, not for nothing, because there were white brothers that had to take a lot of big heat from people being like, "How dare you hire this man? And how dare you make this movie?" They're like, yo, it's 1967. Now look, I love that movie to this day, specifically the beginning, bro. But I know I was using a whole different category, a whole different example because of this, but it's just that because it was in the South, like, that whole scenario, if I could just say a final thought, because I don't know too much about this whole thing, but from what you told me, it's like, it's just it sounds like another story in the bag of like, here we go again with oh, we put him with the scenario, not this alibi. Like, oh, he just was there. Like, why you anyone who travels in a group knows you do not leave nobody behind. Like solo, especially in a place that y'all don't know that well. Assuming you guys are new to wherever you went.
Yeah, my final thoughts is you can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with, but you better be sure that you know certain things, because from where I'm looking, my question was, did you know his family or their family? Like you trusted them enough to go with them, but did you know their family? Did they know you? What was your relationship like with them? Like really like with them, and other just elements going into bringing up Mississippi's history alone, right there. I will never go to Mississippi. I have no desire to go there. There's nothing that you could convince me of that would have me go there unless it's for like some historical events that I wanted to share. And even then, I'm going with people that I know. And we're gonna
Yeah.
be smart. We're gonna be smart how we move out there because I know they got sundown towns out there.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you
man.
don't know about the sundown towns, you better start doing some research.
Yep, I bet.
We done did like three different stories about Mississippi. I know I've done a couple of them, so I don't play around with that. I do hope and pray that they get justice for their son. Um, I hope everything comes to light. I hope this conversation opens up more conversations, healthy
Yeah.
conversations, that is. And I'll close with that. I do want to say thank you to everybody that pulled up for this entire string because we went from the Usos all the way to Wills, and yeah, we cut up a lot during this stream. But I'll turn it back over to y'all. Any final thoughts before we close out?
And the
Um,
cycle, that's all I got.
yeah,
Respect, respect.
definitely, yeah, definitely in the cycle. I mean, only thing I can say to close out is with this story with Nolan Wells, man, it just seemed like it is an endless cycle. When you got endless names, man, you can say a name and everybody can remember the story just like that. So I mean, like I said before, with these situations, we we've been immune to digest um injustice has been shoved down our throat for centuries, and even to the beginning of time, we it just seems like when this happens, when you have this interaction, this matchup, um, it don't we're never the favor to get the victory or to get the justice here. It's terrible. We always walk away with the short end of the stick. That's one thing. With the justice system, you see what happened with Carmelo with the 35 years. He's getting a trial. They are ordering a new judge and everything to be done for his case. See if hopefully that come up. But it's it's just we don't never get a fair deal with this. Never a fair shake. Never we get it. We don't never get it down the line, down the middle. We don't never get a right or wrong situation here when we get these interactions here. So you might hear me always say if you flip the script, because if you flip the script, you will get a different reaction to the same exact situation. something to think about. Food for thought. And we just got to do better in being more cognitive of our surroundings and with Nolan, man, who you call your real friends. Because in Nolan's mind, in Nolan's mind before this situation happened, he probably, felt like, he was an equal. He felt like he was equal to them, and none of those three had that on their mind at all. They wanted to show Nolan that no matter what you achieved or what you think it is, even if your parents can afford to pay for you to go on this trip, that you just another nigga.
I was
And
just gonna say I was gonna quote different world.
yeah, you just another Nick at the end of the day. Yeah, you might have came with us and all that, but when it came down to crossing over and actually being on this team here, we can't let you, brother. Sad but true. Sad
Yeah,
but true. You just another one of them, and it's unfortunate, but that's what we are at this current state of the world, man. So I don't I
yeah,
don't I don't want to tiptoe around the obvious. I want to confront it. I want to collide with it because this been going on way too long, and um we must start to change with us. Change got to come, man. When change gonna come? And we was saying all this back in the '60s when it was at its height.
Mhm.
When it's gonna come?
It comes when the Lord does. To be
So
honest, the world's not gonna change until then.
so
No,
with that being said, they cut all their accounts off and all that because what they're doing now is trying to once again just like with the Metcalves, they trying to frame to get the boys' freedom together so they can get off on this. That's what the stalling is for. But my thing is, if you flip it, why can't all three of them be in a holding cell until we can get this story to correct? Why can't we do that? They
Mm.
was there. You got enough evidence right there till we get the whole investigation. Why can't they be getting held for this until proven innocent? They are
Yeah,
guilty to proven innocent. Why can't we do that? That's the right and wrong that I'm talking about. We don't get the right and wrong. We
yeah,
don't get that. But if it was the other way around, we would. Our
yeah.
ass would be in the jail now. Ain't no way a body pop up and it's three nicks and one of these whites is gone and y'all still at home. Nah,
Yeah.
if you look at it like that, it's not a fair shake. But other than that, we gotta like you both touched on. We gotta continue to ask God, man, and to be accepted and to be a forgiving God and all that, man, because it's too much hate in this world right now. And I'm pretty sure with this situation here, just like the Carmelo, it's going to be a more of a division going on here. It's gonna be more of a division. So we got to keep that in mind. So, but going back to what I said in the beginning, do I feel like it's a retaliation with the Carmelo in Austin? Yeah, because of the attraction that the case have got and that attention that it got. There's no way you can be living under a rock and don't know what happened to that boy by now. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's my final thoughts though, man. We gotta be more mindful.
shout
Yeah,
out to
man.
you. Shout out to Max. Shout out
You,
to the people. If y'all got any thoughts, any opinions, leave them in the comments section. If you're not following the channel, make sure you tap in. You know what I'm saying? Uh, got a show for y'all tomorrow. Make sure you hit that bell. You ain't gonna want to miss that one either. I'm trying to tell you. But before y'all go, do me a solid if you don't mind.
What's the goddamn button?
Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Have a happy and blessed Friday. Just in case I don't get to chop it up with y'all, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. Have a good night.
It's my Friday right here. Change gonna come. Yeet.
Yeet.
That yeet. It's all about that yeet.
Yeet. Yep.
Yeah,
Too
Parker.
sweet.
Miss Parker.
You know,
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss,